Good afternoon. We are Team 5. And the names of the members are David, Francisco, Manuel, Brian, Yamilet, Oscar, and Alfredo. Review documentary Arquitectos Maestros del Espacio of Amancio Williams. And this commentary start from the premise of telling use leaders about the life of Amancio Williams, who before being the great architect of Argentina, was fierce and aviador, influenced by his father. He built a house on a river that runs through the family land where the house was built.
Presenting us with a tour of this house. They tell us a little about of the material used, such as concrete without any type of coating. In addition to the lighting design of the house, this is totally extraordinary since they explain very well how it is distributed, the architecture of this emblematic house that Amancio Williams built. You know the documentary has taken us by the hand to understand how Amancio thought when designing a house or building.
Putting ourselves in context, we must understand that this was the beginning of modernist architecture, and Amancio was a pillar in this current architecture, having a friendship with who he considered his teacher, the famous architect Le Corbusier. In the documentary, they show us how they send letters to each other to talk and consult their different projects, detonating in a main core that we will talk about later on since it was of the most emblematic houses of modern architecture in Argentina and Latin America.
Okay. Um, then this documentary focuses on the various projects in which he loved working. Some of them were never made, unfortunately. However, for what we have this documentary to be able to see what they could be, like the theater that designed where didn't matter where you sit down, the same sound will come. In addition to a building suspended by steel cables or the so-called space houses, which took advantage of their roofs to have gardens. We are given a broad view of these projects, giving us a better idea of how Amancio perceives architecture in all its splendor.
A little before the end, the documentary tells us about one of the most important projects for Amancio and what Amancio did. The Curuchet House, located in the La Plata neighborhood in Argentina, based on a presenting us what a file where Amancio had correspondence with his teacher. In the distance, the great Le Corbusier. In this way, Amancio managed to be a part of this project of the Curuchet House. Began this a house commissioned by Le Corbusier while he was in France. Amancio, in Argentina, was in charge of the construction of this house. Le Corbusier sent the plans, elevations, and architectural details by mail, and Amancio was in charge of translating them into the construction.
Something totally positive about this documentary is how it shows you the letters that Le Corbusier sent to Amancio with the plans of the house. Since Amancio made some corrections to the design presented by Le Corbusier to take better advantage of the architecture layout. And not only that, but we can also see how Amancio managed to consecrate himself as a modernist architect with the Kuruchet house, showing the functionality of the house, which highlights the entrance with ramps and stairs, as well as full lighting, so characteristics of modernist movement in the architect.
Finally, we want to recommend this documentary entirely to all types of adults, due to the fact that it fully addresses the architect story of Amancio Williams, as well as begin a great recommendation for people interested in architecture, since you will see how Amancio designed and built these houses and buildings, taking into account that he was one of the pioneers of the modernist architecture. In addition to the fact that, as the document mentioned, he was a student of Le Corbusier, the father of the modern architecture. We thought about this documentary will leave you amazed for other record history that these emblematic buildings such as the Kuruchet house entail. With the further ado, as you should not miss the opportunity to see this documentary.